Talk to him.
We're just two unapologetically black women with an opinion who talk back.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to We Talk Back TV. What's up, Tam?
Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, y'all. Today, we have a special guest on We Talk Back, y'all. He is responsible for a lot of our favorite songs like Sweet Dreams, Beyonce, Good Morning with Diddy, There Goes My Baby.
That's my shit right
okay,
there.
I'm auditioning also, I'm sorry. So I might be
heard you
whistling
over
and
there
singing
singing.
a lot,
Yeah.
okay? And Twerk City Girls. I just found that out. The hell, y'all, we have Mr. Rico Love on We Talk Back.
Rico
lights
Love,
on.
welcome.
How you doing? How you guys doing?
We good,
We
man.
all right.
We
It's
always
hot
good.
outside. It's too hot. It's getting
Yeah.
too hot.
It feels good on this level though.
Yeah. How you
Yeah.
feel about the setup?
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's nice,
feels
right?
good. Feels
It's
Maybe
some
cozy.
we'll do
drums
a
and
live
some,
show in here
you
one
know,
day.
maybe you could get on after we finish and do
Yeah,
a
let's do it.
little something for us.
Let's do it. I'll do a drum solo. For you.
Yeah, that'll be dope. I don't think we got no sticks. You're going to have to hit it with your hands. I don't know if that's...
Jordan is sticks over there?
No.
Shame. You might gotta rent them out.
So, okay, Rico, let's get into it. So our listeners, we want them to get to know you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how you started Turn the Lights On.
How Turn the Lights On came about.
Yeah.
Well, a friend of mine, Mams Taylor, he was a co-owner of this club in L.A. called Area.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to hang out in this spot like every weekend. When I say like, it would be like Lindsay Lohan, Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton. This was like a Wednesday night was the party, but we would come and go frequently because he was one of the owners. So there was a DJ, and in those type of clubs, the DJs play the same kind of set list every night. And they played a song by Pink Floyd called The Wall. And then in the song they say, "Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone." And all the lights would go crazy in the club. So I would say, like, every time that part would build up, I would say, "Turn the lights on," like to myself. So one day I was in the studio, and I always, on a climactic part of the record, every time it builds up, and right before the drop, I would just say, "Turn the lights on." And my good friend Mams Taylor, he was like, "You should say that on all the songs you write. That should be your thing." So I started doing it. And at that time, top liners, and just for anybody who's not educated on how music works, so a producer is a songwriter. Lyric and melody person is a songwriter. We're all called songwriters, but there are top line, which is lyric and melody. That's the guy who writes the lyrics and words and melody. And there's a producer, guys who historically has been known to produce the music. He's considered the producer, even though the top line guy could also be the producer. Now, when I was coming up in the business, the top liner didn't get the recognition. It was always the guy who made the beat, i.e. Timbaland, Rodney Jerkins, Pharrell, those guys who made the tracks. So to give attention to people like myself who were writing the lyric and melody, I started doing my tags on every song that I wrote and putting the Turn the Lights on records. And that's how it came about. And it became a thing around.
Everybody does it now.
Yeah, everybody does it now. Yeah. And a lot of people credit it to hearing me doing it early on, and a lot of people just feel like this is just the new wave. And either way is great because that's our calling card. We're only as good as the last thing we've done. And to make sure that our name makes noise in the marketplace, we have to establish and brand ourselves. That's super important.
Wow, yeah.
See how you're right. I thought the whole time y'all was just like he wouldn't fuck with the lights on, so he was like turn the lights on, and I think that's what people started doing. I mean, that's what I did. I was like, go ahead, nigga, turn the lights on. He said, do that shit.
That's a good way to look at it too, though.
All right, talk about your creative process, because writing these beautiful songs, "There Goes My Baby," like it's so like eloquent and thought provoking. Like, what is your creative process to make these songs that everybody jams to?
I think. First and foremost, I'm a fan of really great songwriting, from the Beatles to Stevie to, Def Leppard to, Mariah Carey and Janet and all those classic iconic songs. So what I think my process is more than anything is understanding a chord progression. I think a piano progression or a guitar progression, those 4 chords, I think there's so many different melodies live inside of those chords. So my process is usually sitting at a piano, sitting at a guitar, and I don't play instruments, but sitting with a piano player, sitting with a guitar player, and going through a chord progression. And the one that sticks, I try to make a melody fit inside of that progression. And that's usually how I create, is kind of like building it around the actual song. The reason why is when the song is stripped and it's just the lyric and the guitar, lyric and the piano, then you know the full essence, and you can feel the melody, and you can feel the richness and the wholesomeness of the melody. And when you have a rich, wholesome melody, you can build music around anything, but you can't make a shit song sound great. But what you can do is you can make a great song sound greater when you put incredible production around the song. So I want to make sure that if you strip all of my songs, it still feels good without music. The lyric and the melody stand alone.
So I listen to Apple. I usually stream my music on Apple, right? Mm-hmm. And anytime like I'm listening to a new song or maybe like a song I hadn't heard in a long time, I always go to the lyrics. Who the fuck wrote this? This is how I feel when I hear certain things in the song. Like, who wrote this? Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's so many different names. I want to know, how do they go about giving credit to the writers on the songs? Because, you know, sometimes you don't even see the actual artist that's performing the song. They didn't actually write it, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have like 5 to 8 different names on the lyrics.
Also taking consideration for a sample or interpolation, that person is credited. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when you see like 10, 15 names, it's because if they sample More Money, More Problems by Diddy and Mace and Biggie, right? Mm-hmm. If they sampled that, then not only did Mace, Diddy, Amin Ra, or Stevie J, or whoever made the beat, and Biggie, not only are they credited, but the people that they sample from are credited. Mm-hmm. And then if they sample from somebody, people they sample from. So a lot of times you see all these names and they'll be like, oh, such and such got all these people writing a song. No, that's the sample. That's everybody. But they deserve the credit because their contribution to the original record made the song what it is. So when you look at that, a lot of times it's that. Myself, I'm what they call a 100%er or a 50%er. So I write majority of every record I've ever written. I've written it by myself. As where there no disrespect to people who collaborate. But my process was always kind of so fast that I wrote a lot of my hit records alone. So you would only see my name and maybe a Jim Johnson or a Danger, and sometimes the artist will get publishing on the record. That's their real estate, and they own that real estate. So to pay a tax, sometimes you have to give a piece of the publishing to the artist, which is fair. It's business, and so you'll see their name. But for the most part, I kind of like try to stay away from the heavy samples. You know what I mean? On some records I
Throwback was a heavy sample now.
A
lot of people don't know the original.
Yeah.
Song.
Dionne Warwick, You Don't Want Me Back. Like, that was the first song I wrote. So that's amazing. That was a heavy sample song, but and they took 50% of that record too. Yeah. So they deserve it. That production and that riff and that the transition and the progression.
It was sick.
It was just timeless, and it made it very easy for me to write the song.
So, okay, a song like There Goes My Baby was like a fat ass walking by your girlfriend, like at the time walking by with no drawers on. You was like, there goes my baby. How do the thoughts come to you? Is it something like that or?
Oh, I had just suffered a really crazy tragedy in my life, to be totally honest. And I went straight to the studio the next day. So when I was writing the record, honestly, it was an idea about, this girl is the most beautiful girl in the world, and I didn't realize it until just this moment. And she's taking forever to get ready. I'm sitting at the edge of the bed, and I look up, and I see this girl, and I'm like, oh, my God, there goes my baby. So I wanted
Niggas be forgetting you look good. Okay.
No, really. No, you saying it funny, but a lot of times men will forget what they have or the quality of the woman that they have. So sometimes
you get too familiar.
You get really, and in all things, right? Don't we get familiar with, in business, we get familiar with in friendships and relationships and all these things. So the idea of the song is for a guy to just kind of sit back and reflect, like, oh shit, my shorty is bad. You know what I mean?
Period.
Ooh, girl, look at you. So I wanted to create a moment that has so many different meanings, but just felt so good. Like the goal for every song is to make sure it just feels good to people, and they can interpret it any way they want. And even when they listen to it now, I bet when people listen to it now, when he says, "Bet you ain't know that I'll be checking you out when you be putting your heels on."
I love that song,
your body's
man.
So perfect, baby. How you work it, baby. Like he's like, wow, I love the way that you be poking it out. Girl, give me something. It's like he's paying attention to her now in this moment,
Yeah.
And then also a little nugget was that I was a huge fan of Usher and Chili dynamic.
Everybody was.
So when
real.
you listen to the second verse, I said, I get the chills whenever I see your face and you in the place. I feel like I'm in a movie, baby. I'm like, ooh, baby. Like waterfalls, your hair falls down to your waist. Can I get a taste? No need to creep, because, baby, I ain't ashamed while calling your name. I was naming TLC songs.
You was getting him some pussy.
I was
that
trying to,
That's what you
from
was
everybody else except Chili.
I was trying to just drop, right. I was trying to drop the nuggets in there to, like, I wanted to hint at this idea of him
Beautiful
and Chili. I
relationship.
always thought that was an incredible pairing,
Mhm.
and I love Jen, Usher's current girlfriend, and I think she's amazing. But at that point in my life, I was so young and I was so enamored with the idea.
And everybody wanted Chili, right?
Yeah, and Chili is just such a
Dope.
beautiful
individual.
individual.
Beautiful.
So I just kind of threw that nugget in there. A lot of people may miss that, but when you listen to There Goes My Baby, you listen to that second verse, I definitely had Chili in mind.
Nice.
Okay, I got a question because there's a lot of niggas out here making beautiful music for Facebook and SoundCloud, and that's it, right? And it never goes nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into a place where everybody is like, let me get Rico Love on it. Let me get Rico Love on it.
First of all, blessed enough and fortunate enough to have existed before social media, so which is an incredible asset, an incredible tool to so many creatives. But it also it widens. It does see the door to go through to make it is the same size. It's just the access to get to that door is easier. You get what I'm saying? What I mean by that is there are 150,000 songs uploaded every day to Spotify. So what that means is we're going down one door, one corridor, but it's just the directions to get there is a lot easier. Whereas back in the day, you had to know somebody, you had to perform, you had to be super talented. People had to see something special in you. They had a team that would cultivate and develop it. Now it's like develop it at home, do it yourself, put it out. If it sticks, we want to give you money for it. So in that sense, the business is a lot more difficult. But in another sense, it's a lot easier because you can upload something, put it out. If it connects, if you build an audience, you can gain revenue from it. You can build a following. You could potentially get a deal and make a lot of money.
We better make a video.
And next thing you know, you outside on stage singing, my booty brown, my pussy hole, whatever that girl's like. That is wild to me. That
You know them lyrics,
like
girl. Don't do sexy red.
You know what
my
I'm
booty
talking about.
pink.
It's
Hold on, my
Sunday.
booty pink. Excuse me.
It's confusing.
My pussy pink. My booty hole brown.
That's wild to me.
It's
Okay.
funny because I don't go out a lot, but I went out a few weeks ago and I saw guys singing it. And I was like,
You saw Duval weekend this past weekend.
Yeah.
Duval had his
It was everybody.
The guys was somebody commented was like, I swore I just heard somebody say ski wee. Man.
it's just the way of the world,
So that was actually one of my questions though, because of social media and stuff. So even back then, do you think it's in your opinion, is it talent or hard work that actually gets people?
Hard work is going to always keep you consistent. Now, the thing about getting in the business is because it's such a crapshoot, you can get in there. It's a roll of the dice. You can roll 7 and on the first row, and you can actually make it into the business. But there's a technique and a skill that comes into consistently hitting your number. And I think that it takes hard work to sustain anything, right? But to get in the business, it does not necessarily take the hard work, and that's the problem. For some, it takes extreme level of consistency, persistence, and hard work. But for others, it's just I threw something up. I started rapping 6 months ago. I started rapping a month ago. My first song I put out hit. So then what happens is those who stick around, they are the ones that are actually talented. So when Glorilla first came out, you didn't know what it was going to be. But I see the consistent work. I can tell that she works extremely hard. So when I watch her, I'm like, okay, everything that's happening for her, she deserves because she didn't just take it. Now, Cardi B the same way. Cardi B was an artist who I didn't think was super talented. But the work that goes into it and the consistency and the dedication to the craft. So if you can find a way to obsess over the actual art and not just over the making the money, then I think that, and obviously you want to be lucrative. You want to make money. You want to be successful. But if you can find a way to obsess over the art, then I think that's more about character than it is about moods. And I say this a lot. Your character should be consistent. Your mood can change. Who you are is going to be consistent. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Ooh. So when you
that's
you
my
think
favorite
about
saying.
that, when you think about that, you got to understand, like, if somebody was in a trap and he was dedicated, Lil Baby was in the streets and he was known for getting to some money. So his dedication to consistently be able to earn in the streets transitioned over to his music. And when he started making music, he took the same mindset, the same hustle, the same consistency. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. And that's why he's able to sustain success in a music business. And I think that if you ask me what's more important, I say the hard work is more important. But we live in an era where the talent is not even necessarily more important. It's about how much motion you have. If you got enough movement and traction around you as an artist, if people believe you, if people buy into you, they'll convince themselves that they like your music.
Right.
And that's the difference. Now, if you have convinced them to love you and you make great music, it's an incredible win for you.
Right. So when we talk about business, you know, people say, "Oh, business is business," but like you said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So do you go along? Do you think that a person can separate their actual personality from the business? You know, because people do a lot of shady shit in business, right? And they'll just say business is business, right?
Yeah, I think.
But that's you. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think there's a. Whenever there's paperwork, whenever there's a huge conglomerate that has to earn, has to make money off that, like X's and O's, you have to understand that they are going to stick to the rule book. And when you go into a contract, you're making relationships with this president. You're making relationship with this A&R. And you believe that because this A&R told you that he believed in you or she believed in you and they bought into your brand and they put their arm around you and they fuck with you for a long time, and then things started to change and you weren't as productive and you weren't as financially lucrative as you once were, then you believe that the betrayal was between them and you. No, what happens is they have higher ups that they have to answer to. Even the CEO has to answer to somebody, right? He's the chief executive operator, right? He runs the machine, but they are boards and there are ownership that says you have to answer to us and you need to make sure that you're turning this around. So when you don't do what you need to do, you blame the inconsistency of the business. There's no love in the business. There's no love in the industry. And the problem is that people think that the music business is any way different than any other business. Whenever you have legal and you have paperwork, you have people that have to be paid and you have checks and balances, there will be a time where they're going to ask who was productive and who was not. Right. And if you were productive, I don't care how long this relationship has lasted. I don't care how cool you are. I don't care how much I love you, how you know my kids and how we hung out and how you, at one point you were the king of this label. If you no longer earn, then our time together has to end. And that's with sports. That's in McDonald's. That's in anywhere. So I think that people have this idea that the music business is more shady or more about business and business is business than any other corporation or conglomerate. They all function in a way that says, if you are productive, you have a space here at the table. Now, we'll keep you around as long as we can until I have to answer to my higher ups and say, what's up with such and such?
Right.
What are we doing with this? Because every time they do a project, every time they go in the studio, we got to pay for this. Every time they put out a song, we got to pay them this. Because of the deal that we did for them back in the day that earns them a certain amount, it's costing us too much, we got to get rid of it. So in a sense, people will say the business is shady. But every business that has to do with paperwork is going to go by what the paperwork says, and they're going to honor that paperwork for as long as you are beneficial to them.
Right. And on top of that, everything in life is negotiable. So get a lawyer. You know, read.
But even if
people
even
just
if
be
your
signing
terms,
shit to get the check.
But even with that being said, everything is, if you are productive, then you can change any contract. That's the crazy thing about the business. When Lady Gaga's first deal was not the same deal she did after her album. After her first album came out and was extremely successful, she was able to say, all right, I want to do this, or I'm not doing another record. And at the end of the day, she's so successful that we have to come to the table. And that's how you have to look at it. So if you aren't successful, you have to understand it's the reverse.
Right.
That they're going to say, yeah, we know we did this paperwork, but we really kind of just want to sever ties because it's costing us too much. So we have the right to get rid of the situation and walk away from the situation at any moment. Just like you should have the right to say, hey, I just sold 30 million albums. I would like to redo my entire deal and structure it differently. And I would like this person not to be involved. Y'all can pay them. I would like this person not to be involved. Y'all can pay them off. I want to have sole ownership and partnership between you, me, and the label. And guess what? The record company will sit down and go to you. You could have discovered her. You could have came and brought her to the table or him to the table. And the record company will come to you and say, here's a check. We're sorry, but
Meg Thee Stallion, I think, is an example of that, right? Because she did not, she wasn't trying to leave. When you say he ain't speaking on that shit, I'll talk about it right quick. She wasn't trying to leave 501. She just wanted to renegotiate her contract. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to say this.
I'm
going to say this, and I'm going to say this about all things. All things in life. I don't care what a person has told you. I don't care what you heard and how emotional they may have been when they said it. We only know their perspective and their point of view. And it wouldn't be fair for us to even give a idea of what happened based on one person's take on it.
Now I'm
right?
talking about her contract. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
the
but we
whole
don't.
shit with
We
Old
don't
Boy.
have her contract either. You know what I mean? So it's
But
a
the
lot
courts
of things.
have been siding with her,
Hey.
essentially.
Hey, I can't speak on that. But what I can say is I only know
And she got an apology from
one-
that nigga.
one perspective. You know, sometimes you gotta apologize.
And what's the other rapper from Texas? She just left 501 as well.
Oh, Erica Banks.
Yeah.
You
she
know
just
what's
left
really
them too.
unfortunate though, also is that there's situations where sometimes I've signed a lot of female artists and I haven't been able to break a female artist. And the problem is that no matter what I've invested into them, like if you look on my pages, anybody who follow me, they know that I'll post my artists 500 miles an hour. I will always promote and talk about my artists. I'll put everything I have into them. And when it doesn't work out, people forget all of those things that you've done. They only believe,
Right.
only realize, oh, it didn't work out. It must be Rico's fault, right?
That nigga
So-
had me in a 360 and I ain't
and
getting
I ain't
shit.
did, right. Meanwhile, they never made $1 for me in no way.
Right.
All I've ever did was put into it, and it never gave me a return on any of those situations, right? So, regardless of whatever, I've read comments from people that says Rico did this and Rico did this and Rico did this. So even when I look at a situation like, well, oh, didn't another girl quit or leave his label, or didn't another girl do this? I still only know that person's perspective because when you are the boss, when you are at the top, it does not benefit you to go back and forth on social media with somebody. Oh, this is what really happened. It's not becoming of a boss. It's not becoming of a leader. This doesn't look cool. So a lot of times we have to allow, especially in this business, sometimes for rants, sometimes the artists will go crazy and lose their mind on you. And sometimes you just have to allow it because as a boss, you can't be, what? It's just too much. And
Right, I
so
get it.
that person could be wrong. This person could be right and vice versa. But I think that to assume that just because this person says something that it has to be true, then that part of it, or just because this person didn't respond to it in the way
Right.
that you saw fit, that it has to be true, is not necessarily the truth. always.
Absolutely. I get that. You know, because I am tired of battling people's perspective
Yeah.
nowadays.
You kind of just gotta let it.
Fuck your
let it live.
perspective.
And over time, everything, especially in the
That was
business,
shade
where,
to me. I feel like
No, it ain't shade to you. It's the internet, bitch,
Okay.
at this point. It ain't even.
but over time, regardless of whatever, the truth will come out, or things will play out, and people will see the
Absolutely.
consistencies in the characters, and they'll see it, they'll watch and notice some things, and they'll say, "Oh, all right, this starting to make sense." You know.
There goes that thing.
Right.
Okay, I have one question before we go to break. Give us your Mount Rushmore of R&B.
Artists, writers, what?
However you want to throw it.
Okay. Michael Jackson is number one.
Period.
Period.
Okay.
Off the wall.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go with Stevie Wonder,
Yes.
and then you get two people. It's four on Wrong Which one?
Yes.
And then I gotta go Usher, not just cause he discovered me, but I just listened to his tone. I think it's the most incredible, distinct tones in the history of music. And then you gotta go Beyonce, because only reason I can't say Prince is because I can consider Prince more rock, R&B, soul. But if we want to go straight R&B, I gotta go with Stevie, Mike, Usher, B, because they are people from before my era, during my era, and you know, the ones that I think I patterned my love for music behind.
I like your list, but I
Yeah.
definitely Prince.
Yeah.
Adore?
Over B.
No, I love Prince, but I'm just saying if I had to choose between Prince, Michael, and Stevie, I think Prince was a way more well-rounded artist in all genres. So if you gave me a Mount Rushmore music in general, then I would have to take out Usher and B. I would put Prince in that spot. But if you give me R&B, I got to go. I prefer these people because of sentimental value and reasoning, also as well as the iconic figures that they are, and the impact and the contributions they made to the R&B art form in its,
Entirety.
yeah.
Absolutely. So one more question before we go to break. Who is on your hit list, like of people you haven't worked with yet and you want to work with?
Wow. Rufus Wainwright is an incredible artist. I think you guys should look him up. He had an album called Want One that changed my life. I used to be extremely homophobic, as most people in our community were. And when I heard this record he wrote called Natasha, where he was Rufus Wainwright. He has a song called Natasha, and I interpreted it as him telling his girlfriend he was gay. And I just thought it was genius. So Rufus Wainwright is one of the guys I would love to work with. I definitely would love to do an entire project with Kanye West. Like if me and Ye could do
Me too.
a project together.
I keep telling a nigga to call me. He ain't called me yet.
He tripping, right?
No, did y'all see him yesterday on? Well, I don't know. He has this other page. I don't know what though.
I ain't see it.
I'm gonna show you right now. Kanye is tripping.
Speaking of other pages and artists on my hit list, I would say Kendrick Lamar.
Oh yeah.
And I love his new account. His what's they call it, a burner?
Yeah. Finsta.
Yeah, Finsta. And and then finally, I know that I would love to do an album with Usher, and I've done a project with him. I've done a lot of his songs, and I've written hits for him. I got even new records getting ready to come out of him soon. But I would want to do a whole album with me and Usher. Like, just let me executive produce the project. That would be my dream.
Super dope.
Why you can't make that happen? You should, that should be easy, right?
It's not easy, but I would love for it to happen.
I should make that happen. We
Let's
manifesting.
get that rolling.
But check this out right quick, y'all. While we go to break, y'all, we be right back.
Oh no.
Yeah, he tripping, right?
Talk to him.
All right, y'all. So it wouldn't be right to have somebody on We Talk Back named Rico Love and not talk about love, because y'all know we love talking about relationships, child. I'm actually tired of it. But anyway, so this past week, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we started talking about unconditional love, right? And so I asked him, is it possible for him, does he think it's possible for him to love someone unconditionally? And he was like, I don't think, like, he didn't know. He was unsure, right? But I'm like, no. The only person that I love unconditionally is me, right? Because I'm going to always forgive myself. I'm always have empathy for myself. But sometimes people do things that are kind of unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I walk away, is that really displaying unconditional love? So how do you feel about unconditional love?
You see, because love is a feeling, because love is a mind, a space that you place somebody in your heart and in your mind, then unconditional love, it has to exist to me. And also because of my belief system, right? So I believe in God, and I believe God in such a strong and reverence. I have such a reverence for him, right? And I understand that if love is God, then it's never ending. It's always present. It's always an existing thing. Now, my actions behind how I allow this person to fit into my schedule, into my life, into my psyche, that's different. But the feeling I have for someone is unconditional.
Right.
So meaning I never in the history of my life would go out of my way to hurt anyone. I never would try my best to target someone and say, let me figure out a way to get this person.
I don't think anybody ever consciously thinks that.
But I can remove myself from anybody who I don't feel like have my best interests in mind, or if we don't feel like we any longer compatible. So, but the love that I have for them will make it so that in any situation, I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, want what's best for them. So I don't think that unconditional love is unreasonable of its task to ask for, or a thing to ask for. But I just think that to ask that somebody is always present in your life and always is the go-to person for you when you need them, that part of it isn't reasonable. But when we think about love, even though love is an action, we also have to remember that love sometimes means that I love you enough to give you the space. Because if I love you, right, but you aren't allowing me in my own mind, because obviously we make our own choices, but you aren't allowing me to be the best version of myself, then for the better of our relationship, I'd rather remove myself. Because sometimes you removing yourself for a time can mean that you'll reconcile later in a time where I was able to heal from some things, you was able to heal from some things. We can really participate in a relationship, friendship, whatever that is, in a more mature space. But that love can never not exist. So that's why when I tell people disagree with me strongly when I say that you can only be in love once. So a lot of people get angry when I say that. I don't know why they get angry, because that's just my perspective. But I always tell people, I believe you can only be in love once. I believe that we are wrong about so many things.
No, I agree.
So have you
with
had your one already?
No.
That, I agree.
But I just think that we're in a space where so many things can be wrong. We can say we're wrong about so many things.
You're always a hypocrite when you're learning.
But we refuse to acknowledge that maybe we were wrong about being in love with somebody. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
And I think that
that dick was so good. I love him.
That's lust.
I'm
in lust with that
like
nigga.
That nigga.
Right. A lot of time spent with a person, and you'll believe that was my soulmate. And that doesn't mean that that's not necessarily the truth. And what it can mean is that for that period, it didn't work, and then it can work later. It can mean that also. But I do believe that if it's only one person for me, then how can I be in love with others?
Yes.
The way love works in my mind is an ongoing thing. It cannot turn off. You can't turn love off. So when I think about love, I think about God. And I know that there are inconsistencies in everything that we do. But the one thing that has to be constant is our want for somebody to do well and to be the best version of themselves. There was an interview with Kim Kardashian said the other day, like, I want the old Kanye back, right? I want the old, I want to have that back. So what that tells me is that her love for him didn't change. She was in a situation from her perspective, and I don't know both sides of the story, but from her perspective, what she was saying to me, in my opinion, was this no longer worked for me when he was this way, and it was a change that happened. But if he was this way,
we'd still be together.
I think we could still have worked it out. But for this was destroying me personally. So when I look at that, I realize that
But isn't that a condition?
No. The condition is where she stayed.
You're still gonna have boundaries with
boundaries
conditions.
Yeah, exactly. Her staying was the condition.
Right.
Her love for this person is unconditional. Because if I couldn't stay because of this, but if it was this way, I could stay. But the love can't go anywhere.
Right.
And I think that's fair. And I think that sometimes we kind of like refuse to really recognize, like when people are like, I've been in love 6 times. I'm like,
how is that possible?
But love don't work like that because you can't be out of it. It's a covenant.
Right.
So once you enter
I feel like being in love and loving someone is totally two different things, right? Because being in love is a state of mind. So if you're in a relationship and you're not doing things to continuously fall in love with your person every single day, y'all arguing, fussing, fighting, you left your drawers on the floor, like you're going to be falling out of love, right? So I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think you can fall out of love, though. That's the thing. That's the only iffy
part. I think
that's
so.
saying there's a thin line between love and hate is a real thing.
What I'm saying is that you can believe that you were in love with this person.
At that time. Which is why I agree with you when you said you only can be in love once.
And you can realize later that I was not in love with this person. So what happens is...
It's usually when you get some new dick. I could not have possibly loved that nigga because I love this nigga.
I just think that over time you'll realize like, oh, this has run its course. And I felt like this was something, but over time I realized that I'm not willing to endure any of this that's going on with this person. So now... sometimes you're not willing to endure those things with a person because they are hooked on drugs, because they went to jail. Doesn't mean that might not be the person that you were meant to be with. Sometimes you might end up with the person you weren't meant to be with. And the person you were truly supposed to be with is the 3 relationships ago. I think that's very much possible. But I also know that if I say that I'm in love with someone and I really mean it in the true essence of what love means to me, love is a covenant. Love is a covenant that is you can't break this covenant because I correlate love with God. So the consistencies of who God is, and also, I guess it's up for debate because some people don't believe in God in the way that I do. So that's why when people get frustrated with my perspective, I'm always kind of like puzzled because I'm like, it's just my perspective.
So you believe in the internal God or the external God? Because mine is internal.
See, I believe that God is omnipresent. So everything about who God is internal, but we are God's work in the earth. So I am the external working of who God is inside and who God is in me, right? So I do understand that that over time things can reveal themselves to you and you realize, I thought that this was this, but it wasn't. And that's okay. I was wrong about this thing. Doesn't mean I want bad for that person. It doesn't mean I regret the experience. But what I can realize is that this is not what I thought it would be or what I wished it to be or what I tried to force it to be, right? And I also believe that when you do find that thing and everything about you, everything you believe, everything you thought that you would never do, it'll trigger those things and it'll make you decide to do things that you...
I know, I've been doing a lot of shit lately I don't ever do.
Well, yeah, you told me about some of those things.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
But all right, so based on your definition, that means that you feel like most people have never been in love.
I can't judge by most people. That's not my business. I'm telling.
That's God's business.
My perspective is how I believe what I believe love to be. I do believe that people use the word loosely. I believe that people use most terms loosely. I believe people call something amazing. That's just okay. Or
brilliant.
I just think that
mediocre.
Genius, and that's okay. So I think that I do believe that when it comes to being in love, people can become. I was in a space. Maybe a couple years ago, 2 years ago, where I was like, everybody I was going out on a date with, I was thinking, oh, wow, this could be it. Oh, my God, because I thought that's what I wanted.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then unfairly, I was giving a lot of people, maybe a few people too much time that I feel like maybe realized shortly after that it wasn't warranted, right?
Right.
So I think that we go through these phases in our lives where we think certain things. Who I am today is not who I was a year ago. Who I am today is not who I was 5 years ago. So I had to give myself space to grow and understand through those things. But I think love is the same way. The love is one of those things that you can't outgrow. You can grow to a different space in who you are, but it goes back to mood and character. Your character is one thing and your mood is a different thing. And how you behave and how you respond to things should not be based on your mood and only be based on your character. And that's how love is. I respond to you based on how much I love you and not how mad you upset you made me. And I think that when you realize what love truly is, then it's defining how to correct yourself in those senses. You know what I mean? And when I respond with love, I think more so about what's best for all parties involved and not just how I feel in the moment.
Shut up, bitch. Okay. No, hold on. What I was about to say was God is love, right?
Right.
But in the Bible, it was a lot of shit God was doing to people,
What did
right?
God do to
A lot of
people?
wraths. You
What-
feel a wrath of God,
Yeah, what
right? So it wasn't always
What did he do to people?
cause destruction. God did cause destruction in the Bible.
To people.
Yes.
Okay, so what? So
that
now,
boat.
no. Let me tell you. Let me tell
We
you
said a
what.
boat.
So let me tell
Noah's
you.
Ark. Everybody died that wasn't on the boat.
No, Noah
what you have to
left
understand-
everybody else.
No.
Yeah, but I'm saying-
But again, it's all about perspective, right? God hates sin, right?
But what's
So-
sin? Sin is subjective.
So that's what I'm saying. It's all about perspective. Didn't I just say that?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So it's all about perspective. God hates sin.
Yes, you
So
did.
God said to everybody, he said to everybody, this is going to happen to this place. If you don't get right in this place, I'm going to flood this place.
I
But
flood
he
this
didn't-
motherfucking
all right,
place.
So he didn't say it to everybody. He told Noah, and Noah told
And
everybody.
he told everybody. But that's how God speaks.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that's how he speaks.
then you
From
gotta
in
trust
you.
Noah. You gotta
Okay,
trust
so
Noah.
so what you have to understand is Noah was saying, if you behave this way, if you're doing this, and a lot of times, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people blamed, and this is a whole nother conversation. People blamed Sodom and Gomorrah, the destruction of it, on homosexuals, and it wasn't the case. There were all forms of perversions, bestiality, people having sex with children, animals,
Where
all
are
type
we?
of things. You know,
Babylon
Exactly.
right
But
now.
if we're talking about exactly, but the point is, he said, I'm going to bring wrath on this land. I'm going to destroy this place. This is what's about to happen. And Noah, for over 100 years,
was trying to tell
preached
niggas.
to everybody, get right. I'm telling you, he's about to destroy this place. He did not say, I'm going to burn you, because if that was the case, he wouldn't have had to do it. He could have just picked off people. Bam, 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 bam.
That's
Right.
next. The
That's
burning
not-
is next.
That's not what he did. What he said was, I'm going to destroy this place. And it was even a time where he said, don't even look back. Don't turn
Oh,
back.
what's the woman
And
who
he
looked
turned
back?
to salt. Yeah.
So,
So what I'm saying is, and I know a lot of people even listen to that who aren't, from that space, and they think it's ridiculous. Even if you don't believe the stories are true, look at the examples of in the times that we live in
Right now.
So even if you think that sounds goofy, that sounds crazy, you have the right, and I'm not going to argue that with you. What I will say is, if you look at the details of it and you say that God never ever said, I'm going to burn this one man, I'm going to do this. He said, get right, because I'm going to destroy this place. And if you're in it, that's what's going to happen.
It's on you, my boy.
It's on you, my boy.
but I feel like I'm one with nature, right? So if somebody said, I'm about to destroy this place, I feel like I'm a part of this place, especially if I'm outside somewhere in a park. Like, I feel like I'm a part of that place. If I'm swimming in the ocean, I'm a part of that place.
That's a perspective, but I also
Yeah.
realize that wherever I am, there is a place. So if this place does not exist, as sentimental as this place may have been to me, I know
think we
that
should leave it
there
off.
will be another space.
There's no way.
There
If
will
you don't
be
move.
another place. If you understand that who you are, and that as long as you exist in any place, that is the place. And sometimes places and times in particular places have to end. So I wouldn't be more attached to the forest or the river or the ocean than I am to my own personal space.
I'm Pocahontas, though.
That's fair.
Pocahontas.
That's fair. That's fair.
Low homemade. Stupid.
Do you want to get into our game?
Yes, let's do it. Y'all,
Okay.
listen. So we want to play Trading Places with you, right? Oh, matter of fact, hold on. Before we get into the game, let's go to commercial right quick so Taylor can get off our necks. Thank you. We'll be back.
Talk to 'em.
All right, Rico, we want to get into a game we call Trading Places. Right? I know you see 1,000 podcasts online. It's always the man versus woman battle.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to ask you a series of questions, but it's you waking up tomorrow and being a woman for a week.
Ricos Love.
So first, are you paying for the first date as a woman?
No,
Okay, no, not at all.
not at all.
Okay.
I
That's
don't
a good
think-
answer. See.
I don't. I believe in gender roles.
Okay.
Yes, come on, man. The fuck? What are we doing? Game over.
That was it, y'all. That was all. Nothing needs else to be said. All right. Would you go 50-50 on rent or mortgage with your significant other?
So I think that it's a man's responsibility, and I've only been in one major relationship where I've lived with a woman, but I've never ever had a woman contribute in any way to any bills in that home.
Oh, they gonna be mad.
Yeah, but I also don't believe that that's just my way of doing it. So when I look at anybody who does anything different, I always leave that up to them and the decisions that they make. If the woman is okay with going half with her man, then that's not my business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Gabrielle Union recently.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that people were in such an uproar about it, most women who were upset about it were mostly the ones who can't afford to go half on any rent anyway.
Right.
So I think that to be upset about somebody else's situation that they are happy with is fucking ridiculous.
Right.
So yeah, I've never lived that way, but I also know that sometimes you might be in a situation in a bind. I'm in a bind, Nate. And I think that sometimes you might be in a situation where things are going good and they abruptly go bad. It would be amazing to have somebody there who could say, "Don't worry, babe. You've been holding it down for all this time. I got us
Absolutely.
until you get back right."
Or at least do the landscaping, right?
Yeah, that's true. But oh my
That
god.
was an inside joke.
I get it.
but I just think that it's incredible to have somebody who could be there to pick up some slack if need be. And I think in my heart that a woman who is in love with a man and really cares about him, if things go bad, I think she can't wait to help. She can't wait to jump in there. 'Cause
Absolutely.
She, grateful. You know what I mean? And sometimes a woman might not be in a position to do so. So that's no shade to women who may not be in a position to do that.
I got
But
head and
think
dinner,
that
baby.
My mental
And prayer.
My
my mental space, my daughter who's 8 years old, I want to groom and build her up to be a woman who's self-sufficient and who has everything and can handle herself and take care of herself. But I also know that if she's in a relationship with a man, he's gonna have to take care of her because she's used to her father taking care of her.
Right.
So in order for me to give her away in a sense, then I'm giving her away to somebody who's gonna take on the role that I have in her life. But I don't feel like it'll be a chore for him because his relationship when I'm in a relationship, it's not a chore for me to do for the woman I'm in a relationship with. So even in the job of a man, I think, in my opinion, is to make sure he takes care of the home in that particular way. And the job of a woman is to make sure she takes care of home in the way that she takes care of home.
Right.
So I just think that I believe in those roles.
I saw a video the other day, just right quick. It was an Asian family getting married. The woman he was handing his daughter off, and he told the groom, "If at any time you fall out of love with my daughter, please just bring her back to me."
Yeah.
That's some art of war shit. Because basically, to me, what he was saying is, "I'm gonna kill you."
No. I think I interpret that differently. I would say the same thing because what it's saying is, if you don't want to be here, then don't make my daughter suffer through you not wanting to be
Bring
here.
her back.
How about you bring her back to me, and I'll be there for her.
With that
and you can
unconditional
move
love
on.
at.
I would prefer that you move on with your life and let me be the figure for her that I've always been.
Right.
That I've relinquished that duty and that title to you to have. Give it back to me because I always take it back. I don't think it was anything malicious about that statement. It was like we go through things, and sometimes a man or a woman can wake up one day and realize I don't want to be here anymore. So he's saying, don't treat her like shit. Don't talk down to her. Just
Bring
give
that
her
baby back.
Let her come on
So
home.
they were never in love by your definition.
When they were getting married,
I don't know. I can't speak to that.
they were getting married.
Are you getting on one knee as a woman and asking for a man's hand in marriage?
No.
You so in love though.
Yeah, no.
And he hasn't asked in 15 years.
No.
Middle part or side part as a woman?
Middle part.
All right.
Bust down the middle. That's my fave.
Bust down, Tatiana.
What's
I like
another?
bangs too. I
You
would
like
have
bangs?
Bangs are back in style.
If I was a woman,
I like bangs.
Yeah.
I be
It's
missing
too
my
hot,
forehead,
though. It's
though,
too hot for
sometimes.
bangs. You miss your forehead
When I
you
get a
have bangs?
bang, yeah.
Yeah.
Miss my forehead.
Are you smashing on the first date?
Yeah, I don't.
You only got
judge-
a week as a woman now.
I don't judge. I judge everything by the chemistry, right? So if it's in the moment and it feels good, then go for it. I wouldn't judge a person off of that because I know guys who hung out with a girl and they be like, man, I've been dealing with shorty for months. And we haven't been able to do nothing. Then I know guys that meet her and hang out and they do it the first day because the connection is different. I don't judge a person by that though.
All right.
I judge a person off of, even when we talking about bills and all that stuff, I believe in gender roles, but I also believe in giving it time and having a true, genuine connection. I believe that if a person is expecting me to do something for them without me knowing them, or if it's a prerequisite to us going on a date, is that I cash out her money for her babysitter.
That's
and all
wild.
that
That's
stuff.
a wild one.
Things
Maybe because
like
we
that.
don't have kids.
It's
Like, why these guys got to pay for your
forget-
babysitter?
For even babysitter.
Where's the dad?
Like
Or I don't believe women
it's
are
certain
asking
scenarios.
that.
Yes, they are. But it's certain scenarios. No, seriously. Certain
Somebody asked
scenarios.
you that.
I've had a person. I invited a person out to hang out with me, and they asked me to send them money for outfits. It's like I'm responsible for your first impression. Like imagine if you told somebody you're responsible.
That's wild.
For the first impression I'm gonna have is how you look, how you dress, how you whatever, everything. Right?
Exactly.
You're telling me that I'm not only responsible for getting you there, feeding you, clothing you. You want me to clothe you and style you to make the first impression. So I think that a lot of times there are requirements that women make to men
I ain't arguing
that
with y'all
aren't
no more.
fair based upon the relationship. If the relationship is to the point where a man is, all right, if there's a level of convenience, money is only for convenience in my opinion. And if I say to a person, I want to see you, and they say, well, I can't see you because this is in my way. If a man has means and he wants to see her bad enough, then he should, if he would like to, he'll get rid of that hurdle. Right.
Right.
And if that means
Problem
a monetary,
solver, that's what a man
if that
is.
means a monetary thing, I'm gonna get rid of that because I want to see you this much. Now, if a person says, "Hey, I really want to see you," and
I'm
you're
married. You gonna get rid of her husband?
Like, no, I'm not playing with that.
Colombian necktie.
But if a person is just like, "Hey, let's hang out," yeah, sure, let's hang out. Oh well, I can't because I gotta pay this bill, and it's like, all right, well, we don't need to hang out. Like, why? You know what I mean? It's not that serious. But if it's
Right.
like I really want to see this person, every time I try to see her, this thing is in the way. This thing is in the way. This thing is in the way. Let me try to get rid of it.
She don't got a babysitter.
so I can
It's
get
in the way.
so I can get close to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's fair.
You woke up pregnant this morning. Okay.
From a one night
From
stand.
a one night stand. What you doing?
Oh my God. Jesus. Y'all know I love the babies. Depends on my financial situation.
Okay.
That's
If I-
where
if
you're
I
gonna
can-
end it.
As a woman, I think everything should be based on what you could actually do for your child. That's it. So if I personally, as a woman, would be able to take care of my child on my own, then I would keep the child. If I'm saying I'm going to depend on this person who is a stranger to me, who I don't know, then that's adding extra pressure to me into my life. Fighting with this person to take care of a child that they potentially might not want to, or might not have the bravery, or might be a coward, or might, everybody doesn't take that responsibility. So what I would do is, if I had the financial means to take care of the baby independent of anybody else, then I'm keeping the baby. If not, then I probably wouldn't.
All right, y'all.
You heard it
Yeah.
from Rico.
No, hold on. I got one more question because this is like, I feel like this is a scapegoat type thing men do. So at any given moment, you're asked what you want to eat. Do you know what you want to eat? What you eating?
Yeah, I do. I know what I want to eat.
What you eating?
Yeah, at any moment,
Right now, you hungry? What you want to eat?
Yeah, I want to eat some steak and shrimp.
Where you want to go at? Because that's the thing. Men always say
We
women
don't
don't
never
know.
know.
Yeah,
What
I
we
feel
want
like
to
y'all
eat.
put it off on us because y'all don't never know what y'all want to eat.
You know what's crazy about men, though, is men think about where they're going to eat 2 days in advance.
That is not true because
Yeah,
they get to
I'm
the menu
flying
and
back
be
to
mad because
Miami
there's nothing they
tonight,
like
right?
there.
I'm flying back to Miami tonight. I'm not going to eat this late tonight. But let's say I was flying back in the afternoon. I already have in my mind what I want to eat when I get home. I'm already thinking about it. Yesterday, I was thinking about, I want to go. When I'm here, I always go to the Waterman. So I'm always thinking, when I get to Charlotte, I'm going to the Waterman. Like I'm going to Steak 48. That's just what I know what I'm going to do. So in my
Right.
mind, I'm already mentally preparing myself. But when I get to Charlotte, I'm going here. When I go to Vegas, when I go to LA, there are places that I love to go to. And I'm saying, when I get there, I can't wait because I'm gonna go there. So men already prepare these things in their mind beforehand.
I don't think so. I'm talking about a cohabitation situation or a date. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, when
you
we get
hitting me
there,
up asking me what I want to
pretty-
eat, and you mad because I don't know right now. But what do you want to eat? I don't know. Then you get there, you see the menu, you don't like it once I pick a place. That's happened to me a thousand times.
I feel like that's a
That
triggering
might be.
situation.
I know, right?
A thousand times, like, nigga, like, this is what I wanted.
And especially now because I'm eating a certain way, I know exactly what I'm gonna eat
Right.
or the style in which I'm gonna eat. So it's easy for me. But I can't speak for nobody else. So I don't know. I don't wanna, I can tell this is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. It's okay.
Give you what you want, baby.
It's okay, boy.
I like hugs, y'all. Hugs
It's
save
okay,
lives.
booby.
All right, so we're gonna get into our final segment. I talked to you about it a little bit earlier. Do you have your story ready for our Simp Series segment?
Simp series. Yeah. Yeah, I have some simp stories.
Okay.
We should call it. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Let me think. Because I have a few where I was been put in some really simpish situations.
And simps are necessary, y'all. Okay, don't get us wrong.
I was in a situation where a woman asked me to help her out of a situation and really look out for her, and then so I did. I sent her some funds to take care of a situation. And she was in a bind, Nate.
That's what I was
I'm
thinking.
in a bind,
She was in a
Rico.
bind, and I looked out, and then the following week I'm like, yo, let's hang out. She's like, yeah, I'll be there. And then she told me, yeah, I'm coming. And then she called me a little while before and said, I gotta leave town. And I'm like, oh, she gonna make it. She reneged on it, and then I decided to go a different place instead of going to where I said I was gonna go. She was there with some very cool rappers that I actually like.
Yo.
Yeah, and it was awkward because they recognized me and they're like, "Yo, yo," and I'm like,
And she like,
"Hi guys, I bought her outfit. Hope you guys like it. Can I sit with you guys? I contributed in some way to this outing." That was some simp shit.
That's a good one.
yeah, that was good. So what did she say for herself?
Nothing. No, not a word. Act like she didn't even see me.
What? How much money was it? Can you share?
No, I'm not gonna share.
Man, how much money was it? Was it like over 10 grand?
No, fuck no.
Oh, okay.
No, it was
She
hot.
sent her $40.
I'm like, bitch, why you disappear over a couple $100?
It was a little bit of bread. It wasn't those pennies though.
Yeah, like, what the
And
hell?
you never spoke to her ever again.
In my life.
Damn.
Bird brains.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
See, so
I'm bird brains.
no, the girl,
Oh, okay.
the
Good.
bird.
Bird.
You know, yeah.
And
Those
it was
bird
crazy
behavior.
because you think about it, and these guys were on the top of the world at the time, and I was, I was in a breakup, right? So I wasn't totally. I was single at the time, but like in a breakup single.
Yeah.
You know,
Sometimes that
break
take
up
about
single,
1 or
and
2
you just
years.
like a few months when you just kind of like you single, you moving around. So I'm just like, oh shit, I'm gonna go hang out with Shorty. I'm gonna do this, and then and a lot of times people get back in relationships because of moments like that.
Hell
They be
yeah,
like,
that shit sent your
yeah,
ass home.
yeah.
Like, ain't nothing out here, man. I'm going back to my bitch.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, it was the Migos.
Oh, hell no. She
Yeah.
played you for the Migos?
No, Migos is
The
poppin'.
Migos, yeah.
I like Migos.
I understand
But
they
I'm gonna say
poppin',
this. I'm gonna say
but-
this. It was the beginning of their career. Believe it or not, when Migos first came out, they was on fire with Versace, and then I did a song called "They Don't Know," and Migos rapped on they remixed "They Don't Know." So they was already like, I'm not gonna say fans of me, but I just think they respected my work, and they,
Right.
like, so they had their remix, and then they started really buzzing. So I was in that Playboy mode. You single for a little while. You like, I'm about to be outside real quick. So I meet the shorty, and she like, yeah, and I'm like, she's like, I really need some help with this, and I'm like, okay, cool. I sent her a little bread,
Finesse.
and then
Shame.
she's like, we supposed to link up that night, and she curved me. So I'm thinking, she probably thinking he not gonna come over this. He not going to this because I probably usually wouldn't have.
Right.
But I was like, oh fuck it, let me just pull up to this, blah blah blah, and I see them. And
That's
I'm
That
like,
was
sad.
God, because she would have still been taking money for you right now if you
She
didn't.
wouldn't have still been taking money from me.
No.
I'm not gonna get.
She
finessed
probably
for
wasn't
long.
going to show. Well, she probably only stopped talking to you because you
'Cause-
saw her
Yeah.
with the finesse.
That's what I'm
you
saying.
know what I'm saying?
She
Yeah.
would have still
It
been
was-
coming
I
around.
consider it to be my decision because I would have never spoke to her again.
No, I'm saying
Had
if
you not seen her.
if you didn't
Oh,
go
had
to
I not
that
seen
place,
it? Oh, yeah.
then she could have still been
I would have
finessing.
continued to be finessed.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. And she,
She
and
would
by
have
the
just
way,
been
when I
dropping
walked over
coochie
there,
off bi-weekly.
she was looking at me like,
She didn't give a fuck.
she didn't send me a text. I'm so sorry. Nothing.
That's
Like, what's
fucked up.
What's good?
I don't play
What
with people
happened?
like that.
What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
That's crazy. That's awful. Maybe she listens to the show. If you do, you really owe Rico an apology. That's wild. Like, for
Oh, his money back. Fuck that apology. Pay me.
Right.
Right. What a simp, though. You know?
Nah, simps are necessary. Dumb bitches are also necessary,
Simps are
man.
necessary.
They are, because it's not like it's a bad thing. I think men call other men simps. Women really don't use the term like that. Like, we'll call a woman a dumb bitch, right?
I think y'all kind of see niggas as simps sometimes.
But we
though,
don't
like,
say simp, is all I'm saying.
Right.
Like, we see a lick, absolutely.
a
Some
lick.
of them
That's
have it on their
even worse.
forehead.
If I was a lick, I'd be, oh my God. That's worse
Got
than a
licked
simp,
next
man.
to him in your phone.
Oh my God.
No, I've never.
That is the worst. I think, but we all are corny to somebody. You know what I mean?
I'm
Yeah.
fucking cool, man.
Oh,
I don't
but
know what you're
to
talking
somebody,
about.
somebody that you know is dealt with you, or something's like, it's corny.
She corny.
So
Right.
I accept that. I try to be as cool as I possibly can, but I know to
I'm
somebody.
being myself, man.
I think
know.
it's necessary to get played to be well rounded, though. Right? You got to take a L sometimes so you can be humble, right?
Yeah, you probably played somebody, so it's coming back around.
Jesus.
But I'm karma. I do the coming around. All right, y'all.
I am karma.
I do the coming around. Y'all, this was a good
This
episode.
was
Okay.
great. You're a
Uh-huh.
great
Good
great
interview.
guest.
Great
Yeah.
time.
All right. Tell everybody what's next, where they can find you. all that
Okay,
good
so
stuff.
I really want to. Obviously, songwriting is my passion. I'm a passionate father, so I'm creating a men's group for dads. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So the dads can come together. It's like a network where we can kind of communicate and we can exchange energy and advice and how we can uplift and build each other in our communities. And what we're going to do is in each meeting we raise money for one father who may be in need of something specific to help do something great with his kids. So we're going to be creating that, and it's called Because I'm a Dad. And that's going to be coming really
Nice.
soon. We're going to be rolling that out. Also, the Rico Love webinars, the We Love Music conference that I do around the world, teaching about songwriting and production. That's something I'm super passionate about. And building my multimedia group where I'm able to develop not just artists and writers, but also actors and poets and creatives in all art forms, finding spaces for them to exist and express themselves without the burden of the financial burdens that people have when they're trying to make it in the business. So that's more my passion, is making sure that we can pour back into creatives and pour back into our community of creatives.
That's
Absolutely.
dope. That's super.
So you got a nonprofit.
So it's essentially a for-profit business, though, because we want to be able to have avenues to where after they receive funds and they do well, then there's a commission that they pay back.
Oh, I
to
guess
the
I was
organization.
referencing the thing for
Dads.
dads.
Oh, the dads would be nonprofit
Yeah.
for sure. Yes, but
Yeah.
the multimedia company where we kind
Absolutely.
of develop acts, we want to make sure that we can help give them resources, and then the company can earn off of
Right,
the
and pay it
success that
back,
they
yeah.
have.
Yeah, that's super
And
dope,
also,
black
I'm doing
man.
the music for a new TV show called Black Hamptons. This is season 2 of the Black Hamptons on BET. So I'm the music
Yeah, check that
supervisor
out.
for them. We did I did the first season, and now I'm working on the second season. I'm super excited about that. Super excited about Usher's new album. Just
Really? You
finished
got
up
a new
that
album
project.
coming?
Yeah, and it's
Nice.
amazing. It's
Ooh,
amazing.
excited. Babies. More
Amazing.
babies coming.
I just was with him, and he played me every song, because I did the songs that I've done, but we took a car ride and he just played me everything, and it was exceptional. It's an exceptional body of work. I can't wait for the world to hear that. Obviously, I just had success with Romeo Santos and Justin Timberlake with Sin Fin. Anybody who's familiar with Latin bachata music, #1 bachata song in the world. So excited about that, and excited about the work we're doing with the BMC, the Black Music Collective. I'm the chairman of the BMC, which is a subsidiary of the Grammys. We created something, DEI effort, where we kind of like making sure that we hold feet to the fire, make sure that Black people, women, and people of color are represented properly inside the Recording Academy. Last year, our Recording Academy Honors Award Show, we honored Lil Wayne, Sylvia Rome, Missy Elliott, and Dr. Dre. This year, we're cooking up something exceptional for Grammy Week, and we're doing some amazing events around the country around building awareness to Black creatives on what is available for them.
And I missed that in your introduction, y'all. This is Grammy nominated Rico Love. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
don't-
be
And
clear.
also, Also, I'm helping Music Cares with this hip hop initiative we're doing. For the next 3 years, we're gonna be funding and helping a lot of hip hop artists. So if you are a hip hop artist and you need help, you need money, and you need a roof on your house, and you need your teeth fixed, and you don't have the funds for that, you come to Music Cares, you submit, and
Fix the
we'll help you.
existing ones first, though, y'all.
Yeah, no, but the teeth that you have now, let's make sure we got those in order. But there's a lot of things that we're doing, and there's a lot of philanthropic work, but it's also a lot of entrepreneurial work that I'm really focusing, dedicating myself on. And I created the Love Foundation, where I've been doing these recordings at my house. I created it because I keep my kids 7 days on and 7 days off. So when I'm with my kids, I was finding that I was spending a lot of time picking my daughter up from school, picking my son up from school, see them for an hour, go to the studio, come back, they sleep, I wake up, I take them to school.
Yeah, you didn't see them.
So what I started doing was I started recording at my home and setting up the cameras and doing these sessions, inviting people over, and we've been making great records, and I'm able to have my kids come in and out. So it's called the Love Foundation, and we just make really dope records, and we've been documenting the process, and we're gonna make it into like this little series. So
Nice.
I'm excited about that.
Well, you're busy as
I know.
fuck. I'm not doing enough out here, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot going on.
We like to lay down.
You
like
gotta
to
do as
sleep.
much as possible, make sure something stick. You know?
Right.
I know, man. I got to get better at that. When I hear people, like, that was a nice little rant about all the things. Like, am I not doing enough?
Right,
The
I'm
fuck?
like, damn, after I leave here, I was going to sleep. I need to go do something
Hey,
else.
bitch, we should just go ahead and plan for tomorrow. Matter of fact, because that's what would Rico Love do? All right, y'all. Listen, this is a fantastic episode, y'all. If you enjoyed it, tune in every Thursday on the iHeartRadio app or wherever the fuck you get your podcast at. This is your co-host, A Holiday 2.0 Instagram. Y'all follow me now. And if you listen, we talk back. NT.com. Got some merch up on there now. Check us out. What's up, Tam?
Y'all, it's official Tam Band. Follow me on Instagram. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Remember to speak now.
And never hold your peace.
Deuces.
That's dope.
Talk.
Talk to him.